Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and this is going to be an awesomeness of beauty and creative expression of many people, because this is a VR to Kelly from the Truth in Story, and this is about my 10 piece of soul decks. I'm similar to Kelly. I do not have one soul deck. I don't feel particularly drawn to just one deck. I noticed over time that I have a few decks that really feel close to me, like they feel quite at home. They feel a little bit like they are a piece of me, and that doesn't change. They don't have to be decks that I use every day or I use very often, but I want to share with you the 10 that I picked. Let me start with my first deck because it still is my soul deck. And I just picked a few cards to show you while I talk. So my first deck was Osho Zen, and I got it from my sister, and I love this deck. This deck was my introduction into tarot, and it happened to me while I started kind of being interested in meditation and self-development. It was like 2001, I think, and I received it from my sister, and I love the book and the images. And until now, I think that the description or depiction of the images is quite amazing. It's not a regular tarot deck, it's very unusual, but it does follow Rider-Waite-Smith, and I think it's quite easy to understand the meaning of the images when you know Rider-Waite-Smith system. So this would be like Eight of Swords. It's gorgeous healing for the Queen of Water or King of Water, I can't remember now. Projections. And this deck is definitely a part of me, you know. When you start with something, when you learn from a deck, when you feel like it went through you, and with you throughout all this time, because this deck has been with me since 2001, so for 17 or 16 years. So that's quite an awesome deck. And some of the images, like look at the devil, when you have that ship and that lion that thinks maybe that he is a sheep because it's conditioned to think this way, for the thunderbolt, for the tower, when you gain a glimpse of awakening, or the word card for the completion, the last piece of puzzle. I love it. So this was the Osho Zen Tarot. Another deck that changed totally my tarot journey is Dodal. So these are the backs. It's by Jean Floneroy, the version by Jean Floneroy. And I mentioned this deck so many times. I love how the people are depicted. I love the feel of the cards. Love the eyes. I love everything about this deck. I love the size of the cards. I love everything. So Jean Dodal is one of my favorite Tarot de Marseille decks. But I could have picked also, quite a few different Tarot de Marseille, which I love. But Jean Dodal was the first that got me into Tarot de Marseille journey, inspired by Enrique Enriquez, and I just love this deck. So Jean Dodal, another deck that I really love. I could pick also Tarot of the Crown from Ellen Lorenzi Prince, but the Dark Goddess Tarot was the first deck of hers that I gotten, and this is definitely one of my soul decks forever. This is something like very unique about this deck. It's just based on different goddesses, but I really love how she did the whole deck, including the booklet, because I love the booklet. I love her sentences, I love her depictions, everything that she put into this deck is full of soul, full of substance, full of meanings, and this deck is definitely a constant companion of mine, and I love to use it. I use it a lot, and I've had it for a few years now, and that hasn't changed because I was lucky enough to get it, you know, when it was still available. Then it went out of print, and now it's again available, so you can get it if you want it from her website. It's an amazing deck. I love this artwork, love the simplicity of it, the colors. The goddesses come from different cultures. You can learn about the history and lore, but also she gives you in the book quite a lot of practical tips how you can approach the energy of a certain goddess when she comes into your life, or when you want to intentionally work with her. I love this. So Dark Goddess Tarot, beautiful and amazing. Another deck that I am very and particularly close with is Tarot of Transformation. And also, if you watch my channel, you know that I had a very beautiful experience with this deck. And it holds for me a very kind of angelic vibes, or like you know, spirit guide vibes. I love the keywords which she chose for the cards. So 10 of Swords would be living the story. The book is spectacular. If you love psychology and approach tarot with reverence and spiritual twist, you will love this deck and this book. So 2 of Swords would be creative differences, because 2 of Swords would be like, you know, 2 of minds, 2 different opinions coming together, whereas 2 of Cups is authentic connection. And the Hangman is not in control, which is gorgeous. I love 7 of Discs, which is usually about waiting. This one is incubation. It's very shamanic, also quite grounded, which I love. How powerful is the Green Man? It's very multi-layered, and you don't need to pull too many cards. Opening to Angels, it's just amazing. You can feel the energy of it. You're never separated from the source, but in the Devil card you feel the separation from the source. Shattering the structure for the Tower, how cool, powerful. And I love the Master of Swords for reading the web, just like your mind can, you know, take it all in. Healer of Wands, vibrational healing. So if you love energy healing, all the wand cards are for chakras and energy healing, which is awesome. Web of Life, the 6 of Discs. It's like, you know, whatever you do will affect certain amount of people around the globe. 9 of Swords is trust work. Isn't this beautiful? And Tantric Sexuality for 9 of Wands. So Tarot of Transformation, one of my soul decks for sure. Another one which I so highly recommend for people who meditate, who value kind of going in, it's the Margaret Peterson Tarot. It's amazing. The whole deck is beautiful. It's a piece of artwork. These are the backs. I chopped off the borders, and I just show you a few of my favorite. So that's the Sun card, very powerful. I love this Death card. I love the High Priestess, like being in a cocoon, 4 of Feathers, 10 of Coins. I love this Labyrinth and the Diamond. Oh, I love that. The Daughter of Cups. Just this total trust. And 3 of Flames, so 3 of Wands. It's like giving birth. Check this out. How cool. So new, something new is being born. And 6 of Coins. And 8 of Feathers. There's so many more cards I could show you. This deck is amazing, and it is a healing deck to me whenever I feel like I need a totally serious kind of no bullshit approach. I'd go for this deck. Another one which I really love, and I noticed that this is one of my soul decks. It's the Tarot of the She, and again I had quite a few interesting experiences with this deck, and I just enjoy the kind of feel that it gives me when I play with it. I love this Tower card when the mask just comes off your face because it will be tight. The Web of Mirrors, very cool. A Warrior Princess. And I love also the keywords which Emily Carding chose. So Dancer 8, Escaping Stagnation. I love this. Oh, Maker Queen for the gift of healing. Also Warrior 2 for 2 of Wands. Oh, which way to go. And this is about power awakening in you. I love this. The Amazing Star, full of healing energy. I love the aces, so this is the Ace of Air, Dreamer, or Maker 7, so 7 of Coins, effort sustained, you know, this perseverance and holding on. I love the High Priestess, and as you know, High Priestess is usually not my favorite card. Interesting Temperance also. Oh, and this one, Maker 3, so 3 of Coins, Labor Fruit. But I love this intuitively as the energy healing and working with your intention. My Lorna, the Sun, Half Moon Truth. Magpies are one of my power animals, so this card is always kind of close to my heart. And as we know, this is my stalker, 2 of Swords. And a beautiful Empress. Nightmare for 9 of Swords, so Dreamer 9. Pretty disturbing. And I love the Judgment and the Dancer 10. The Judgment, like, for each of us has a unique voice, but we can sing in unison with, like, all together. So Tarot of the She, amazing deck. Another deck which I am so happy that I managed to buy is the Maat Tarot. This is something about this deck. This deck is very deep, and to me it brings me like whoa, to the base chakra, you know. It just, so these are the backs. It's really I don't know, it's very shamanic for me, despite that it's like has pictures from different cultures, but it's very earthy. And to me, like this High Priestess, I love her. This deck kind of brings me always inwards, but with power, you know, like it's different to Margaret Peterson. Margaret Peterson is very kind of, maybe not intellectual, but very high up. This one is much more, but also very powerful in its own right. It's got all the moon phases in different signs. That's an interesting take on 7 of Swords. I just picked it up to show you. My favorite Justice card of all times. It's interesting, 2 of Swords as well. So as you see, there's new moon in Libra. I've done a full flip through and review of this deck. You can check it out. The Death card, one of my favorites. So shamanic, it's gorgeous. How's the moon? All the faces. The generation, the biological karma, you know, you can get so much. How evocative is that 3 of Swords? Beautiful Hangman, also, you know, you cannot move, you have to wait till the right time. Love the Sun card, the solstice, so just a few days ago. And this 8 of Cups, just because the person is walking into this awakening light, so you still have to walk through the bushes and trees and forest, but this one is just pure aesthetic beauty. I love the Devil. I just get everything she wanted to show with this card. And 2 of Wands as this initiate, like the doorway. How amazing you can meditate with this card. It just like pulls you in, you know, it's amazing. So the Maat Tarot, definitely one of my soul decks. Another one which I am working, it's quite, so these ones were maybe quite older, except for the Maat Tarot, like I've had them for a while, and now the Orasa Tarot. it really became one of my most treasured decks, just because it suits itself so well for healing readings for people, and I started doing quite a few of those, and it's a great deck for that. Recently I have done like death. I don't even know how to say it, because I want to actually work on this a little bit, how tarot can help with dealing with death. So when someone close to your querent dies or is dying, or when your querent is, for example, diagnosed with a terminal illness or has just a few months of life left, I found this deck is very powerful and soft and encouraging, and gives you, like, not hope, but it just kind of takes the fear away. I don't know, I just started kind of really thinking about it, and I want to use this deck and deepen my work in this field, because I'm very interested in process of dying, and I would like to kind of like specialize in helping people with death and going through this huge spiritual initiation which death provides. But I'm at the very, very beginning of this journey, but I think this deck is really quite beautiful, and you can always use also the bottles, which have, a lot of connotation, spiritual, mental, physical. So it's a great deck for healing on all levels. Just a great deck to use for health readings, for spiritual development, for empowerment very often too, for like karmic readings. So Orasa Tarot became one of my soul decks, and thank you to Krishna Priya for making it possible. Another one which happened quite recently was the Tarot de San Crua by Lisa de San Crua, and I had the privilege to play with this deck quite exclusively last month, I think. And I've done a few readings for people with it, a lot of readings for myself. I got to know this deck quite well, and I think it's an amazing, amazing deck, which it's very versatile, and it suits itself perfectly for readings for other people, because it's not threatening, but it's deep. It's not one of the decks, that are just all beautiful and happy. I love the artwork. It's kind of simple. It's quite modern, so you can use it for different ages, even for younger people if you work with those. I love the interpretation from the little white book. So all in one, this deck, I got to know it, I love it, and I feel like I connected to it very, very closely. And interestingly enough, I didn't think it will happen, but the Aquarian Tarot that Lisa from Mindful Tarot sent me became one of my soul decks. Seriously, I always pull cards from this deck before I do readings for people, just to let me know what the energy will be like, what the reading will be about. And I swear how often, then I use a different deck for the readings, and I swear how often the cards that I pulled from the Aquarian Tarot pop up in the readings for people, and seem to be like the most important kind of message from the reading, like a theme of the reading. So I was surprised when it happened first time, and then I thought I'm just going to check it out and do it every time I do a reading for someone. And I was kind of blown away. So I think some of the decks, like this deck has been around for so long. When a deck has been around for so long, I feel there is this like common, like what Rupert Sheldrake is talking about, like a common field like a memory. When a lot of people use certain type of deck for a long time, I think we can tap into all their experiences too. And that's why maybe Rider-Waite-Smith reads so well, because it's used by so many of us and it works for so many of us. And the same happens to Aquarian Tarot, I think. So this is the deck that, thanks so much to Lisa, I own now and love very much. And if I could cheat and just give one more deck, I think I would seriously consider picking the La Corte dei Tarocchi or Tarocchi, just because there is just something about this deck. And you know how much I love pip decks, and this deck is also just the feel of it. I love it, and I love reading with it, and I read with it a lot for myself. And this is something which, yeah, I don't know, it's stunning. It just has these amazing colors, and I cannot put it down. I love this deck. So I think this one would become like another one of those decks that I will probably never let go of, and that I feel very closely connected to. I think that's it, my friends. There is an honorable mention also. Oops, sorry. The honorable mention goes to Nicoletta Ceccoli. I don't use this deck very often, but whenever I need like this type of reading, when, you know, I don't want to go around the bushes, or I don't want to go very high up, I need emotional, like, what's going on type of thing, I go for Nicoletta Ceccoli deck, just because it's my shadow deck. And whenever I pull it, I just get always frustrated, and I always get like, it gives me amazing readings, but it's not a light-hearted deck for me. It always gets me, this deck, seriously, and I adore it. So this is my shadow deck, and I love it for that reason, but it fucking just annoys the shit out of me at the same time. So Nicoletta Ceccoli as honorable mention, definitely part of my soul decks. So thank you, Kelly, for inspiring me to do it. You know, guys, how much I love decks and how much I love to share about decks. I never get tired of showing beautiful decks and beautiful cards. I just enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I can't wait to see your picks. So let's get on to it and show me 10 pieces of your soul decks. Nice to speak to you. Speak to you soon. Bye.